Many years after the death of Okuri, Ucheju became very popular and was respected by the people of the village. He was so successful as a hunter that the sting of his father's mistakes quickly disappeared. Ucheju had grown into a very handsome, tall, and muscular young man, and most females in the village admired him. However, unlike other hunters, he had no dealings with women. He was considered one of the greatest hunters in the Guru kingdom, and at a very young age. He had won every hunting competition in the village since he turned 24 years old and was now 33 years old. The young man became the voice of the hunters in the village, but he took no apprentices. Ucheju had won competitions so often that other hunters knew he would win even while they were still hunting. The hunting competitions were held in Guru village every year, and hunters from far and wide would bring several animals to showcase to the kings gathered in King Iziga's palace for those 7 days. 7 kings from 7 different villages would be present at this event, and any hunter who brought an animal considered strange and uncommon would be declared the Ocholo of the year, meaning the voice of the jungle. Ucheju had brought in a hyena twice, 2 crocodiles, a wild pig, and several other animals. How he caught and killed these animals was a wonder to other hunters, and the more shocking thing was that he hunted at night and traveled far into forbidden regions of the forest where no hunter dared to go. One time, a hunter from Guru village decided to practice hunting at night but was bitten by a cobra and died. Since then, other hunters stuck to their daytime hunting, and no one dared to copy or follow Ucheju when he ventured into the forest at night. One time, Ikoma, Ucheju's best friend, said to him, "My friend, you have become very great, and I am a hunter like you, but I don't seem to understand how you do it. Can you please teach me so that I can have my own share of greatness too? What is your secret?" Ucheju replied, "Well, I am a very good hunter, I stay away from women, and I know a song." Ikoma became furious with Ucheju and left angrily. Although Ucheju loved Ikoma, he had said he would not teach anyone this secret until he achieved his goal. Several reports came to Ucheju about how Ikoma, his friend, was harvesting from his farmlands to eat and diverting presents brought from other villages to him in his absence. However, Ucheju said nothing and did nothing about it. He had many farmlands and would often tell the reporters, "Even if Ikoma harvests all my crops in my 20 farms, I would be grateful that he did." Soon, the report stopped as he showed no interest in following up the matter or stopping Ikoma. One time, King Iziga's first daughter, Aloma, fell terribly ill and was at the point of death. King Iziga had only 2 children, both girls, Aloma and Ono. The king called for the strongest medicine man in Guru, and after 2 weeks of trials, he told the king that this case would require sacrifice and that he should send for the village priest. The priest was quickly summoned and told the king that the life of the princess could be restored, as her spirit was not far gone, but warned that if nothing was done within 14 days, she would be beyond reach. The king loved his daughter dearly and was willing to do anything to save her. He asked the priest what the requirements for the ritual were. The priest replied, 3 female virgins of her age from one family would be sacrificed to Udili, a fertility deity worshipped by the people of Guru, at nightfall, and before the birds sing in the morning, she would be up. This request troubled the king, as he had sworn not to allow human sacrifice during his reign. He asked the priest if there was any other way apart from killing innocent girls. The priest requested 3 days to consult the gods. After 3 days, the priest returned to the palace and said, after much incantation, Udili has given a second option, but it is almost impossible to achieve. The king's cabinet members urged him to hear the priest out. The priest continued, Udili says if you can offer an elephant's husk, a jaguar's head, and a leopard's tail, she would guide Aloma back to her body. The priest then turned and left, warning, you have only 11 days left. This request discouraged the king, as he had never heard of such animals being found in the forest, killed, or even sighted before, and was heartbroken. Then Ugo, one of the king's cabinet members, said, what are we waiting for? Summon all hunters at once, we can't sit here and watch the princess die. The king mustered courage and summoned all hunters, promising to give the princess as a wife to anyone who would bring back these animal parts. Some hunters declined, while others hurried into the forest. Ucheju packed his instruments and left Guru village after sunset. After this declaration by the king, the personal advisor of the king, Okonwa, said to him, "This offer is too much. Do you realize you are offering the throne to a hunter? The princess is your first daughter, and by tradition, her child would return to rule in your stead. Please reconsider this offer and call it off." The king immediately blurted out that his daughter's life was more important than the throne, and that if she died, he would have failed her as a father, and he would never let that happen. 4 days later, when most hunters had returned with nothing, and some still prepared to go after consulting several medicine men for luck spells, Ucheju was seen in the village square, bathed in animal blood. He had a husk in his hand, a tail in the other, and wore a jaguar's head as his crown. This sight raised an uproar. The whole village was in joyous commotion. "Ucheju has done it again," said the women who spread the news abroad. Then the king rushed out with his advisor to the square. Upon seeing Ucheju, he screamed and hugged him. That night, the ritual was done, and by morning, the princess was alive. The king immediately declared a meet and greet ceremony for Ucheju and his soon-to-be wife. It was a big occasion where the whole village would gather to eat and drink, while Ucheju spent time with the princess, talking under the supervision of her personal maiden. As it was an error punishable by death for the princess to be intimate with anyone before she was properly committed as a wife to her betrothed, the king wanted them to meet and talk, with the condition of not leaving the palace, while the whole village celebrated and drank till full.